Oh, oh, oh wait. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm muted Discord too. Which wouldn't be good if, like, I don't know, friends came to hang out. There we go. There we go. Hello. Oh, hello. For me. Everyone has left. Everyone has left. Oh my goodness. Well, you know, in this year where I'm just basically tearing down everything I've ever built towards forever. Uh I'm changing up what I'm putting on the Patreon and stuff like that. Hello Riku, hello Laz, hello Shadow Maid. I just had to think for a second. Please be paid, please. my brain is not good. Oh no. I want to take my brain out of my skull, brush it with some Q-tips. But yeah, unfortunately, like, doing a traditional comic book comic isn't like super sustainable with how my life has been. I've explained this a bit before. So instead, I'm going to be doing more of a comic strip, and I don't. As much as I love Alex and want to continue the Man Who Can Do Anything, I think at this point it's better to just be like, you know what? In the future, when I'm more capable and feel better about this, I will continue it. But for right now, was thinking of. For now, it might be better to look at another project that I'm more capable of handling. And with that in mind, I'm going to be working on something a character of mine, Deja, has loved for the longest time. I actually just made this logo the other day. His name is Fossil Boy. He's definitely somewhat inspired by Mega Man, though I will say the story beats. There's gonna be different things. Like he's a little robot, blah blah blah. You know, I'm not gonna worry about it too much. Cause I mean, like, here's if you checked in Discord, Laz, I did talk about him yesterday, and his nickname is Fozzie. So that is not incorrect. We're gonna go with comic one. Blah blah blah. What was I thinking of? So yeah, I mean, the thing is, I've talked about this before. It can be hard for me. I think maybe I said this last year. I don't know, but it can just be a little hard to be like, you know, I have all these tools. What was I thinking of? Available in a digital workspace. So where do I stop in using them to help make the art and everything? And with that in mind, I like. I mean, you're fine. Don't worry about it. Laz, I am literally the last person you have to apologize about that to. You do realize my life lately has made it so that I'm just like never talking to anyone, or interacting online, or meeting up with people, or just doing anything social. Anything social at all. I am I am so abysmally alone. I'm fine. And like the kind of deal I'm in, the devil's bargain I'm in, ends in 2 months. Less than 2 months now. Especially since like, you know, it's a job, so if you don't count the days off, then yeah, much less than 2 months from now I will be done this work, and hopefully be able to get something back to how things kind of were, question mark. have a good consume. Consume Shadow Mage. Yeah, that's the other thing. I don't know. It's I've been thinking about this a lot because it's the kind of thing where I'm like, oh Lord, I hope this is okay. You know, I hope people in my life, I don't know, accept this, whatever. Not you guys, like people in my personal meat life, but like I'm just kind of done. You know what I mean? Like I'm done with the professional world. I'm gonna keep trying, but at this point, I think I'd rather. We're in the age of the internet. I'd rather try and just make stuff on my own and do my best to put it out there and get an audience that way, because what was I thinking of? I think I'm just tired of trying with like jobs and stuff like that. So I'd rather try and find a job, not completely life-consuming day job that I can do and pay the bills with, and then do stuff like this in the meantime. She is whispering, brother. She's whispering, sweet soul, brother. I mean, I can turn it up a bit more. Here, let's put it there. Anyway, so yeah. I don't know, like, I'm gonna keep trying, obviously, for multiple reasons, but at some point I'm just like, you know what, I want to just, like, not be consumed by this. Work on what I want to work on, you know? This is the second time I've started a comic series with, like, images of comets. I think I should look up a picture of a shooting star. That'll probably be good. I'm on mobile. Well, you can mob these nuts. Ha! Got him. I'm mildly sorry. I'm not that sorry. I could be sorrier. Hi, Nerf. So yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna be honest, I'm actually kind of more excited to work on this series than The Man Who Can't Do Anything. Again, not for lack of liking that idea, but more so because I just feels like there's less stakes doing this. Like this is a comic where I'm gonna try and make just cool stuff and everything, but at the end of the day, it's just gonna be a fun adventure for us all to go on. So yeah, if you were like, I only care about that other comic you were making, first off, thank you. That kind of means a lot to me, given how much I do love those characters and everything. But I do hope you give this a chance, because Nerf is lovely. Because I also think this will be a great time for us all. The comic starts at the heat death of the universe. I do gotta kind of keep some stuff under wraps, because that'll just be for Patreon. The thing I'm thinking of making for Patreon is a very futuristic looking map for the world we'll be looking at. Oh my lord, I need to install an ad blocker on my Mac. I should have already, but listen. Listen. Do you remember the part where I was talking about, like, you know, not ever being able to do anything? But yeah, I mean, it's not super hyperbole. It is somewhat serious. Of just like I mean, I was at work for 10 hours yesterday, and they need to cut it with that. So also, like, I might talk about the world and everything, like the setting of this comic, but if you want to, well, no, actually, I was gonna, no, yeah, well, no, no, I was gonna say, like, if you want to know, like, the physical location it's at, then you gotta sub to the Patreon. There's gonna be a lot going on here that you're not gonna get from just watching streams and stuff, and that's gonna be true, but I'm also planning to put it up on different social media sites. And eventually, even if it's like a year down the line, you'll be like, oh, this is where it takes place. But yeah. You know, we had that big argument with Pig the one time about, like, you know, how the universe will end and stuff like that. You want to know one of my, what was I thinking of? Go on, Shadow Mage. But you want to know one of the things that I always get hung up on when they talk about it? As far as I understand, the way things stop happening in the universe is it all gets consumed by black holes, and then eventually the black holes dissipate. And, like, okay, but how do you know everything will just eventually fall into a black hole? A lot will, for sure, because black holes like to do that stuff, but I mean, it could go, things could go elsewhere. They could spin around the black hole for a long time. They don't know, yeah. Well, that was kind of the basis of my argument with Pig, and we really just got, we really just went off about it. But okay, let me be less specific. This comic does it. It's not like we are exploring the Galactus. Good point. Good point about Galactus, though. I have been debating whether or not I want a Galactus X character in that comic, but I don't know how weird we're gonna get. So we'll see. Hello, Pig. So I guess this comic doesn't start in a universe where heat death has occurred, but it starts in a universe that is very energy poor. For example, you might notice I'm not about to put like a lot of like fancy details in the night sky here, because there are no stars left. This comic starts and there are no stars left in the sky. Nothing left to look up at. Everything's gone dark. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's been a lot of things exploring like this kind of stuff. Someone eating? No, they just went out. In fact, to some of these people's points and everything, one of the reasons there is anything left, well, I'm just gonna keep saying stuff. One of the reasons there is anything left in the universe to begin with may be due to the machinations of a certain civilization. If that makes any sense at all. Oh my lord. Blaz, I'll ban you. I'll do it, don't tempt me. We're gonna have some rings here. What? about what I just said about the machinations of a certain civilization helping to preserve what is left of the universe. Where the stars went? Oh. Where the stars went. Okay. Oh, I get it. Now I get it. You know why it's ban-worthy. I don't know. I was joking. I just... I don't know, maybe because I don't want chat to be talking about Benoit Ball. Is that so wrong? So wrong that early into stream, I don't want chat to be like, Benoit Ball. We are not absolutely not. No one say anything. No one say a thing. How dare you pig out. I actually don't. Yeah. Okay. What is going on? They're sex toys. Shadow Mage. That's all you need to know. We won't be going deeper than that. Though the balls were. Yes, they are a form of sex toy. Exactly, there you go. I gotta make a chunky rocket, man. I love how, wait, who said it? Oh, Laz said it. Laz, you're good, by the way. Don't sweat it. Because I was joking. It just got even funnier when Pig and Shadow Mage didn't know what they were. And no one's explaining it. But anyway. What was I just thinking of? Oh no, I forget. I'm not sticking with this conversation anyway. Oh, I'm good. Okay, good. Because that's the thing, right? Shadow Mage was like, why is it ban-worthy? And I was like, well, it's just a joke. And they're like, I don't know what it is. And I was like, we're not planning it. I'm glad. What does the Moonlander rocket look like in Disneyland? Tomorrowland in Disney World is pretty cool, but Disneyland Tomorrowland has some really cool stuff about it too. Like it has a big show floor, and it's got a big rocket in it. Like sure, some of the attractions have kind of gone out the door, given that they've tried to update the parks over the decades, but doesn't mean I still don't like the style of it, and the fact they keep so much of the artifacts to preserve what, like, you know, was there to begin with, I think is pretty cool. Oh my lord! Formless, featureless ball. Oh my lord. I'm just gonna talk about other stuff. You know, I was working the other day, and this one lady was talking about Disneyland, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm really excited to go again, because I do have some plans to go back to Disneyland, and she's talking about how she thinks Disneyland in general is better than well, at least Magic Kingdom Park for sensory issues, which I thought was really sweet, because she was like, since it's like older and stuff and they have less of a emphasis on thrill attractions, it can be better for people with sensory issues. And I was like, oh, that's nice. I am not Nerf. And also, it would probably just be better if people... Well, wait. Well, I did see one clip from it. If you're talking about That's the thing, though, right? He's not necessarily an obscure character, but but if you haven't seen the thing he's from, then he 100% is. But regardless, I thought that was cool. Listen, I'll say it a lot. At the end of the day, that piece of Star Wars media was mostly for children more than anything. And being mostly for children, it still did some cool stuff. You know, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. I'm not gonna hold it to some kind of cinematic masterpiece. Hi, Juice. Yeah, that. Because that's the thing, right? It did have some cool stuff. So seeing elements from it show up in more, kind of, I guess, larger, more refined pieces of Star Wars media is super cool, you know. But that's all I'll say about it. Both because I am not caught up on Mando, and because I'm not going to count for all of chat being caught up on Mando. So, an adorable fool. Okay, so now we have to design a poster. So yeah, update the Patreon, because the way I was doing The Man Who Can't Do Anything was just really, it didn't help with the rest of my life, and I feel like, you know, I shouldn't count on doing less and less work over time, especially if I have to pay bills to live somewhere. So with that in mind, I was like, well, I need something that's a bit easier to work on and manage. And at the very least, what that'll mean is when I do have more free time, I'm able to just make more and more and more of it. Oops, I tripped. Fucking, I realized the top one is what Shadow Mage meant to meant to show, but below it on my screen is like a 2012 meme. Mage is correct. So yeah. Listen, if we get enough support going for my humble little studio, I'm able to bring on and hire more talented artists, which I'm gonna be honest, I would fucking adore. that'd be kind of the dream at this point. Then I will gladly, for short list of ideas is starting a production on TMWCA again. But for right now, when I'm the only worker at Cahill Comics, then hire +1 artist. Okay, Juice, are you gonna get like a couple hundred people to just subscribe to the Patreon? Because I I don't have the money. Here's the thing, right? I've thought about this a lot. I would love someone who is equally passionate about like these ideas and stuff like that. Who'd be like, yeah, I just want to work on this with you. Let's like collab and everything. But at the same time, I'm fully, maybe this shouldn't have to be said, but I'll say it anyway. I'm against the exploitation of artists. And even if we're just super on the same page, just very excited about, you know, working on these ideas I've had, blah blah blah. Duplicate yourself. That would be a great idea. I would still be like, yeah, but I should like pay you. I mean, I guess I could be like, you get a share of the Patreon profits. Then that would mean they get $2. And that might be dropping soon. People learning I'm drastically changing the content of the Patreon. Even if it still means they get somewhat exclusive content. might mean that there will be less subs next time I check. So you have my monthly dot. That's very sweet of you, Juice, and I appreciate it. To duplicate yourself on Twitch. Ah, mitosis! Dude, let me say one thing. Let me say one thing. First off, it's not artificial intelligence. Okay? I'm so sick of this. Because you want to know something? This is literally going to be about a comic about like a robot that is alive. Like, this is not a debate that will be in the comic. This robot is a sapient being. It has emotions. It can't connect to the internet or anything. So it's not like that. So this is a living thing. It's just made of metal. Okay? But with that in mind, I can't call it an artificial intelligence, and I'm not going to call anything an artificial intelligence, because that shit's been adopted by this new stuff, and it's not. It's like pattern recognition. That's all it is. It doesn't think for itself, as far as I know. I've never seen anything more advanced. It's like literally like it's basically just like a fucking search engine, except instead of fucking. I'm sorry I'm going off about this, but the fact people keep calling it that, I'm like, it's non-intelligent. Well, yeah, but I feel like the idea, okay, let me say it like this. You can call it an artificial intelligence, but that term has largely been representative of the idea of like a constructed thing that can think for itself. This cannot think for itself. It is literally just using search terms and data already put in place to cobble stuff together. It cannot create new ideas, and it can't even do stuff if there's not a person to operate it. So therefore, it is largely just a machine. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Even ignoring the fact that it is largely just kind of art theft. I saw one yesterday that was straight up just the same image of an artist I follow. Just basically kind of put through an AI filter. So, you know, that's good. I love how I've only designed Fossil Boys, but for this poster I'm going to have to make his brothers. Go on. I mean, I kind of already had ideas for what I would call, because there's a couple living machines in this comic, so I had a couple. But go on, Shadow Mage. I have no problem picking more. I have no editor on this, so. I should be able to. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Shadow Mage. So yeah, exactly. Because that's what I'm saying. You know, the key difference here is that this is a living point. That's what I'm saying. We are exploring past the end of the. But you know, yeah. But regardless, we are exploring past the end of the universe and stuff like that. Like, the living machines have been around for thousands of years at this point, and all the fucking red tape of whether or not they're considered alive has been well and thoroughly cut through. Like, there is no need to be like, well, is he a living? No. Everyone agrees these are living beings. It is not up for debate in this world. Also, to be clear, this is meant to be like our world in an incredibly distant future. So, I don't know. Take that as you will. But I wicked gotta pee. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna restart Metallic Madness, because that's what this comic is. It's Metallic Madness. Go piss, girl, and I will go piss, girl. Y'all listen to Eggman rap a little bit. Where is that button? Button. See y'all in a minute. You've got to be kidding me. When did music stop? It never started. Experiencing interruptions? Find out why. YouTube. How hard would it be? I've thought about this. How hard would it be to replace YouTube? Like, is it mostly a issue of getting, like, the server shit going? Or is there something else? Because at the end of the day, like, just copy the best UI element. Not even... I'm saying copy, but, like... It's just, like, have the most common sense, you know, video UI elements, because even nowadays YouTube doesn't have all of them. Like, they don't have a dislike button. So you could have plenty of things YouTube don't have on. You know what I would love? I would love to have, like, I don't know. The comments could also be better. Just seeing comments could be better in multiple fashions. Yes, I know. Shadow Mage, to quote an old not adverb, to quote an old adverb, if it was easy, everyone would do it. So I do get that. I'm just saying. And not to mention the fact that, like, you know, you would have YouTube as a direct competitor, and that is an uphill battle if there has ever been one. So we shall not do this right now, because I completely get it. Despite what most people think, I do understand. Verily, exactly. But yeah, to return to kind of what we were talking about before, I have to keep. What do fucking Triceratops look like? But to return to what we were talking about before, like, yeah. So like, we're not gonna be exploring like, is AI? Can AI be alive? That's come and gone. Being a robot in this world is largely just to help frame like systems of power and stuff like that, you know? It's like stands in JoJo, where it's like you could. Yeah, and yeah, I know. Yeah, I gotcha. I figured, but still at the same time, I don't know, because there's a whole thing about that with a game online that some of my friends have been playing, and apparently it's going somewhat well for the defendants, which is good. But yeah, regardless, damn it. Yeah, that one. But yeah, like I was about to say that it's kind of like stands in JoJo, you know? Yeah. Where it's like you could do a lot of world building with stands and people having stands. But at the end of the day, it's not really what that series is about. And the stands are more there to kind of have this more fanciful, to provide a more fanciful, just kind of like fun writing tool. And that's kind of what being a robot is like in here. And also, speaking of, there's going to be quite a few sci-fi things in this series that I've tried to base somewhat around actual technology. And I'm sure Juice, but there's going to be some science nerds who are like, well, actually, you couldn't. And to them, I say, stop. Shut. You don't understand the scale we're talking about. We are so far in the future. If there's even the slightest possibility technology could do it, it's gonna be here. Intelligent. Yeah. I mean, it's not indistinguishable. Chat GT or whatever. Dragon Ball GT is incredibly dumb. Oh yeah, I didn't even get to say this. At this point, I think we should just destroy all the AI stuff, except for the things that allow us to make funny videos of the presidents playing Minecraft. Those one makes me chuckle. I think those on GPT would. I think those videos are funny. Ugh. It's just funny. I saw one. I'm not sending it to anyone because at the end of the day, it is like the presidents and politics, blah blah blah. But there's one today that I like because it was talking about how they're like, hey guys, I just got done with the alternate universe stuff. Did you know one of you is being arrested? They're like, what? Why would I be arrested? Like that kind of stuff. And I love that idea. They are presidents, but at the same time, they're just from a completely different world. One so much more lighthearted, and where no one's committed a war crime, not one war crime. War crimes in general. That idea really tickles my fancy. I'm like, I hope everyone's been having a good time recently. You know? I'm just kind of hanging out, doing my own thing, trying to survive. I kind of have a hard cutoff for this stream, purely because I want to get a burger before work. When I go into a place, get a burger, eat, fucking eat. The way this job is, man. Like, I just... Have you ever seen the Russian animation? It's from like a YouTube Russian animator. And it was when the pandemic was in full swing. And he just made a thing about how, like, what's it called? Like, the online classes are just fucking him up because he just can't get a break. It's constant. It's all the time. It's like, beep, beep, beep. I can't shit. That's how I feel recently. It's like, when do I do stuff? I literally, so there's this big tourist attraction everyone talks about that I'm able to go to while I'm working here. And they're like, man, you don't really go that much, Dylan. You should, like, a lot, like, yeah. I've been thinking of picking up a different video game because I was playing, I got a while ago SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, and I want to play more of it, but I haven't had the chance to, so I've been trying to play some more, and then deciding what, like, because I limit myself to, like, playing 2 games at a time, to make sure I have time for just other stuff. I am excited for Tears of the Kingdom, though. Hopefully I'll have money for it by then. But also, do not worry. That is not... I want to be clear. If I'm complaining about money, it's just to get it off my chest. Never feel like this is a call to action, because at the end of the day, it's my budgeting. It's not y'all's problem. But don't, oh my lord, yeah, money. Five bits is okay. But just don't be like, Cahill, how can I'm fine. I live a pretty cushioned life. Please, I'm just getting it off my chest. But regardless, oh my lord. Y'all, okay. What was I thinking of? I don't know. I appreciate it. Thank you. It helps a lot. I really can't argue against it, but it's a thing of like, I'm not the worst. Am I as good as I may have once been? No. But am I the worst off? Also no. There's lots of other good causes to raise money for, so. I just want us all to remember. Anyway, but yeah, it's just I scheduled a me day at like this attraction everyone likes to go to around here, and fucking I wasn't able to go because the day I scheduled it, I went into work and someone asked me to take one of their shifts. Like I switched my day off, and it's a reservation thing. And I'm actually working more hours now. And if I'm working like a good half a shift longer, I don't want to spend my one day off, you know, fucking, just like outside the entire. That sounds so weird. Like, I don't want to spend it outside, but heck, my legs are tired. I don't want to be walking around and traveling while if it's my one day to not do so. I wanted to do the snot bubble trend of for the sleep, but we're gonna do ZZ. But yeah, I mean, that's why I'm saying, don't worry. You guys do not in any means need to worry about me. Because at the end of the day, I will be fine. Run a segue. That is, you know what? Maybe I should. You are so lucky. Why is that, Shadow Mage? I will say though, I'm probably gonna be opening up some commissions soon because good. Good. Well, let me finish this off. What was I thinking of? I'm gonna be opening up commission soon because like I'm doing fine, but come the end of May, I need to get myself back to Jersey. Hi, Oak. You're great. And that's going to cost something. So I'm gonna do some commission slots. And you know, I was like, do commission slots actually incentivize people to commission you more? And we're gonna find out. But also more so, because while, you know, I might get commission from someone who doesn't watch my streams often, I want to make sure I also keep up with any stream rewards I've set up. So I've been working on making sure we get to some of the grad goals left. I have like I've talked about this before. I have like 4 grad goals left, and I'm waiting to have a day off on a Sunday, Monday, or Thursday in order to do a massive Sekiro stream, like a 12-hour Sekiro stream. To, you know, help with that and everything. But I've been working on also making sure we can do, I promised to do a animated tier list of all the animated movies I've seen / can remember. And I'm getting through it. But there's a lot, and we'll also need a good amount of time slotted away for that. So we'll get there when we get there. I will say though, I was basically going through the IMDb libraries of animated movies in order to take my pick, and I have made it, and I've only made it through Disney and Warner Brothers Animation thus far, because I'm going by studio. And just going by those movies, we are already at about 90 animated movies to somewhat review and rate for the stream. So it's gonna be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it. I just need to, you know, get it done and then schedule the day to do it. So that's me. That's me. That's so Raven. I'm on the wrong layer. That's so Raven. It's so Raven to me. I love how I was acting like I was doing a parody of that theme song when I was just singing the theme song, basically. I definitely watched That's So Raven as a kid, but not tons of it. You know what I'm excited for in this comic? I realized how much I love buff blonde lesbian meets slightly shyer lesbian and falls in love. And I was like, I don't have a character like that. I need to have a character like that. So I made a character like that. And actually, I was talking to friends the other day, because they're like, she needs to have wild fucking hair. What does her massive hair look like? And I just based it off Super Saiyan 3. I was like, Super Saiyan 3, let's do it. This is by far my least favorite version of Super Saiyan out of all extended canon. But man, does it have big hair. Say what you will about Super Saiyan 3, big hair. He do be having big hair though. Hello? Oh my lord, thank you for the $3. It's not $3. Is Yang just stuck on the Yang? Huh. Uh-oh. Huh. Okay, there we go. See, this is why I can't have money. Ah! I'm joking. You're fine. Thank you for the $3. Guys, you don't understand. I'm not being humble. If I receive any money, the world explodes. So, hi, Oak. Hey, do you know who's a good streamer and whether or not they're online deserves all your support? Okie dokie. I love Oak. She is one of my best friends of all time. I mean that. I adore her, and she's the best, and she deserves the best. And I hope she gets whatever makes her happiest. Everyone go support Oak. Hey now, I am an all-star. I'm glad we're going in the same direction. Also, by the way, spoilers for the animated tier list when we do it. Shrek 1, middling rating. Shrek 2, pretty high rating. Every other Shrek film, garbage. In the garbage. No ifs, ands, or I'm not going to buckle on that bit. DreamWorks has a lot of good films. The Shrek film, and I'm not counting Puss in Boots. I'm literally just talking about the films that are Shrek. I'm saying every Shrek film after 2 is a letdown, and we are not debating on this. It's not an opinion, it's a fact. Those will be the easiest garbage tiers of the entire list. Good. Cause Oak's right. Love Shrek 2. Shrek, as far as like comedy animated films go, Shrek 2 is up there. You know what I mean? Because most animated films, given that they're typically geared towards children because of stereotypes, they are typically in the realm of comedy, right? But Shrek 2 takes it to a whole other ballgame. So. Shadow Mage is good egg. Wait a minute. The least I can do. The least I can do. You know, I just thought of something. I thought of a cool way to be able to, what was I thinking of? To kind of support other creators in my immediate community. So mayhaps we do something like that. Because I'm a big fan of when people are able to, like, you know, when bigger creators just inherently helps other creators in their community. So, and I'm not a very big creator, but the more I can build that up, the better. Also, for the record, this is one reason I wanted to do a comic strip format specifically, because a lot of black and white comic strips just have this really cool, like, sketchy, gritty art, and I love it. Specifically, I mean, I could post it in the Discord. I currently have my new copy of Walt Disney's Mickey Mouse Race to Death Valley. And you're like, Cahill, you have a Mickey Mouse book next to you? That doesn't seem like you don't understand. Listen, I love this for the same reason I love Epic Mickey. Throw away all preconceived notions. Get your preconceived notions. Lord. But anyway, throw away all conceived notions. Mickey has a gun in so many of these comics. The frequency by which Mickey has a gun in these is so wild. And it's not all for show. It's just, and I did actually kind of look up, like, how the Mickey Mouse comic strip evolved, because I've only read Death Valley. But like, of course, it kind of devolves into the, you know, Mickey's for kids, blah blah blah. So he has to not be doing as many rowdy adventures, but. And conceive notions. But yeah, it's super fun to read. There is a very, very dark bit in the comic. Maybe don't read it if you don't want to read that kind of stuff. Which, to be fair, all power to you, because understandable. But it's like, they wrote this and then put it in a newspaper. But also this compilation of these Mickey Mouse comics from the 30s includes a interview, like a fake interview they did in the paper, where a reporter interviews Mickey, and he talks about how he walks into Mickey's corner glass office, where he's sitting in a big desk and is offering him cigars from a jade vase before the assistant walks away, and then Mickey's like, "Wow, that's boring. Let's get out of here. Let's go smoke the real." Mickey says that. Mickey in the interview is like, "Hey, you want to smoke some real stuff?" And Walt Disney signed off on that. He was alive. He's in the interview. And he's like, "Yeah, this seems good. Good work." Like, sure, it wasn't written by him, but he's like, "Yep, that's good." Please do. Go for a bit. I have an interview call. What a coincidence, Oak. Have a good interview. And please do share. Oh, good fish. That's a very good fish. I don't know how much the commission was, Shadow Mage, but honestly, you probably should have paid more. That is the $1 million fish. When I got to hang out with Vegeta in real life, we went to a pet store, and not only, I think I talked about this, there was a cat I wanted to adopt, but also we saw those goldfish that have like the big old bulbs on the front of their heads, and man, Vegeta could not stop laughing at them. I can't tell if he loves them or hates them, but I definitely love. He thinks they're funny. That's for sure. And then I paid more. $1 million fish. Have y'all ever seen the clip of a lander that's was able to successfully like land on a comet, and it got a video of what it looks like from the surface of a comet? That's wild. Can you stand on a comet, or would you be flown away? Because in theory, Earth is moving super fast as well and spinning rapidly, but its gravity keeps us on it. Is a large comet's gravity enough to keep you on it while it rockets through space? I mean, I guess everything's relative in space. And to get on the comet in the first place, you'd have to be going about as fast as the comet. Because if it just hits you straight up, you and or the comet will shatter. And I'm saying you and or the comet just because I'm imagining in whatever situation this is in, you're in some kind of suit or rocket ship that could hopefully withstand an impact like that, but you know, probably not. Imagine you're in a rocket built to land on a comet, you fuck it up, and instead of the rocket getting blown up, the comet just gets so short, and you're like, ah, damn it. Beans, guys. Beans, guys. Guys, I'm so sorry. Guys, I'm sorry about that. Aw, beans, my guys. I destroyed the comet. Guys, I'm sorry about that. I was just trying to land on it, and I really messed this one up, guys. Old Comet Jim really screwed us on this one. That's kind of what I figured. Because comets, like, don't get me wrong, they're pretty big relative to a human, but in terms of, like, space and gravity, not the big. In fact, they are defined by the fact they are being rapidly flung around the sun. So, not the biggest players in the box. Yeah, and that's about it. That's all they need.
Hey, Vinny, where'd you get that shirt?
Where did Vinny get this shirt?
I don't know.
But anyway, I don't know. Space is fun. Well, Shadow, if I'm being honest with you, from my knowledge of how gravity and speed works, well, no, because with how you still probably wouldn't come back because you are exerting force on the comet, which is not going to accelerate to meet you. Yeah. At best, all that would happen is that you would float above the comet. And that's not incredibly likely. It's more likely you're gonna get flung off somewhere to the side, or just leave the comet altogether, just at a very, granted, a slower rate of speed than in the other direction, probably. But if the comet still doesn't have enough gravity to keep you down, then you are not staying down. See? Sometimes I know science. I was about to say. This is why I say the dumb stuff, because I know some of the real stuff. I don't have to ask questions about. I don't have to ask questions about some of the real stuff I know. Oh, so yeah. I mean, there could be a lot of factors at play, but if we're assuming this is happening in the far reaches in the vacuum of space, then it's basically as clean of as environment you can get for a physics problem. Like, sure, there probably is other gravity and blah blah blah, but at a certain distance from other objects, among other things, then you're basically just doing it in a it's almost like doing it in a simulation. There's nothing else affecting you too. This isn't a perfectly spherical cow. I would love a cow-shaped comet. Okay, guys, that's it. Cahill Comics, we're shutting down. No more art. From now on, we are a fundraiser dedicated to creating a cow-shaped comet. We'll get all the materials comets are typically made out of, put them in the shape of a cow, and launch it into orbit. This will cost millions of dollars. Please consider funding our project. It's gonna give the name Milky Way a whole different meaning. You know, speaking of maybe smart, maybe dumb things Cahill says, let me ask y'all something. I remember a bit I had watched a while ago where someone was talking about aliens learning the name of the Milky Way and being like, you name it after a candy bar. From what I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe y'all can Google this and be like, Cahill, you dumbass, I knew it after I Googled it. From what I know, the reason the Milky Way is named the Milky Way is based off of Norse mythology, as opposed to Greek for most of the celestial bodies in the solar system. It is named after the fact that in the beginning of the Norse universe, there were two creatures, Ymir, the first giant, and then a giant cow. And Ymir supped on the cow's milk for sustenance. And thus, the Milky Way, being based off that creationist tale, is named after the milk of the primordial cow. You know what? I'm gonna Google it, because now I'm curious. Why is it named Milky Way? It gets its name from a Greek myth about the goddess Hera, who sprayed... So it is Greek! Damn it! Damn it, Greece! Why do you get everything? You're not the only mythology with a god cow. I'm angry. I'm angry for the ancient Nords. They're like, hey, we had that. Okay, actually, it's all Greek to me, mythology. Documented well. That is fair. Yeah, you know, give it to the Greeks, to where they deserve it. They did a good job at documenting their history. So. You know what I mean? So here's the thing. I would not call myself a history buff. I just enjoy history. I'm a history enjoyer, you know. And someone made a TikTok talking about how, like, hey, if it's a good sign if there's someone who says they like history and they aren't just talking about, you know, war, the wars that have happened. But they also pointed to different, like, specific things. I do know some specific, like, you know, histories depending on where it is. I full disclosure, I'm a big fan of the American Revolution in history. Granted, because yeah, I live in America and they teach that a lot in school. But also, not for the war, but more for the hypocrisy. Do you know what I'm saying? We're not getting into it. But, like, you know. Because they were like, all men created equal. And then everyone else is like, all men? And they're like, wait a minute. wait. And it's like, well, you let it out the bottle now. No, yeah. But, outside of kind of like the specific examples that TikTok gave for, you know, like pieces of history that are like really cool to know about. Something I'm legitimately interested about is like the beginning of human civilization. You know, I know there you got your Greece, you got your Egypt. There's Sumerian culture, which I believe is pretty old. I don't know if it's the first, but it's up there. Fine, civilization. What was I thinking of? People coming together in a decently large cluster and building a large settlement with one largely cohesive culture, I guess. I don't know. You define it. Though I get that is mostly what I mean. You know, when I say civilization, I'm specifically talking about just like large clusters of humanity coming together and making permanent settlements. More than 2 villages? If they had a name for themselves, if they got a name, then sure. I mean, preferably what I'm talking about is like something in the Stone Age. You know what I mean? No, not civilization. Exactly. Yes, absolutely. Well, if the thousands of villages aren't working together, then they're not. I would argue that they're just villages. It's like we are completely different groups of people. Though granted, you know, that is some of early human culture. It's just smaller villages and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm largely just thinking about like Stone Age stuff because that's what I'm thinking about. Like, you know, the Egyptians had their pyramids and temples. Greeks had their public halls and whatnot. They don't have a communal label for themselves. Well, then I would consider that a civilization more so because, what was I thinking of? Because a large enough number, they don't have to name themselves. And also, even if they did, there's no guarantee that would survive the ages to us now. So, we would eventually be like, okay, we have to call them something. So here's the name we came up with. Damn it, what else was I thinking of? But yeah, like I was saying, you know, like different civilizations you can think of now had different great stone monuments. You know, these huge, largely solid structures that have somewhat survived the ages in one form or another. And I'm largely thinking of those as a hallmark of a civilization. Mostly because you're able to point back to it and be like, this was the big thing they had. This was the big one. That being said, of course, not all people were like, yep, let's make it out of rock. So. What was the. Wait. I mean, understandable, Shadow Mage. What was the Aztec city called? Tenochtitlan? I'm wicked not saying that. I should learn more about that. Because America had despite what a lot of education might want you to think, America had a whole history before Europe came over here. Yes, that one. And I'm still not saying it right. But it's super cool. Yeah, I remember. I'm glad. It deserves to be remembered. You know one reason I like Pirates of the Caribbean? They call Shadow Mage. They called Cortez a bastard. And he was. Cortez is brought up a couple of times because of his in Pirates of the Caribbean stories, because of his insane quest for treasure. Insanely rampage, more like. And they're like, yeah, he was the worst, but we want money too, so we'll look wherever the fuck he went. And yeah, fuck Cortez, you know, Nicole Goodnight is all about fuck Robert Frost, fuck Herman Cortez. I'll say it. You know, no one else. You know, guys, no one else is really talking about how bad this Herman Cortez guy really was. You know, like, I don't think it's a widely talked about area of conversation. I'm gonna make a Twitter. You're so mad for this Cahill. Oh my gosh, Cahill's an ally. My big enemy is Columbus. I really just gotta say. Like, there's lots of not great people in history, obviously. Okay, well, hold your jets, because I was just gonna say, let's not get into too much of the nitty-gritty of what Columbus did, because yeah, there's a lot of not great stuff, but also, he was just a dumbass. I'm pretty sure he died thinking he rediscovered India. Which isn't even touching on the other stuff. You get what I'm saying? I don't know. I would not hazard a guess as to how people in different areas feel about Herman Cortez. I'm not gonna push that on them. I'm like, you do you. So let me see how these rings look real quick. Yeah, it looks fine. I'm gonna use a spray brush in order to help it make it look even better. But regardless, the most lighthearted way for me to describe why I do not like Columbus is the fact he was just a moron. He was a moron who caused a good amount of damage, but also just a moron. also just a moron. And meanwhile, who's out here talking about my boy America Vespucci? Failed upward. I mean, even that's being pretty generous. But who's talking about my boy Vespucci, who is a cartographer, and that a much more respectable profession, and was like, hey, wait a minute. Hey, guys, that's not India. That's like a whole other place. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Is it Amerigo? Amerigo. Yep, it's Amerigo. That sounds like the the mobile app. That sounds like the mobile app you download when you enter America. Welcome to America. Be sure to download our Amerigo app for the fullest experience here. I don't know, after me. I don't know, history. There's lots of bad stuff in history, but sometimes it can just be funny, you know? Like what Nerf said. He named it after himself. It was a Well, no, Shadow Mage. Because specifically, Nerf talked about the chutzpah. Because think about this. North and South America. I know it is. No, oh, okay. I apologize, Nerf, but that we are now done the conversation. Even I hope it is understandable, but even as a bit, we are not doing that. You're good now, Nerf. I might have. I might have taken that wrong, but still. Yeah, I apologize, Nerf, but still. I still feel like now the tide of conversation should stray away from history. Because that's the thing, right? I like having fun with history, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of bad stuff in it, which can't be denied. As much comedy can be found in history, equal if not more amounts of tragedy. This topic is history. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. Oh my goodness. Shadow Mage, you gave me cardiac arrest. No, Juice. We just did that. We can't. Juice, come on. We just timed out. No, that poem was awful. Also, Nerf. What was I thinking of? I hope it's all chill. I apologize if there was a misunderstanding, but even if it was meant as purely, I do get kind of where it was coming from, but still, I was like, ooh. That's the part I didn't want to touch on for, you know. I'm just jealous of Amerigo Vespucci. Okay, to close it out, I do want to say, it is completely wild to name the region after yourself when it is as big as, like, basically every other country you also know about. You know what I mean? Like, cartographers back in the day did not know about most of the world. And discovering North and South America basically doubled the size of it. And then this guy comes along and he's like, and it's named after me. Yeah, exactly. Also, not to drag it down too much, but I will say, sometimes it is good to avoid even sarcastic things, just because, you know. I always think, even though I don't necessarily subscribe to the idea of any advertisement is good advertisement, you know, the thought process of as long as people talk about you, it's a good thing. But still, I think there's no debate over the fact that the best way to just avoid some things is to just ignore them entirely. Okay, I'll go. No, my lord. Not invited Smage from Alt, no. Well, Juice, if you're gonna be like that, that sounded like sarcasm as well. So, maybe I envy. Oh, okay, yes, I did misunderstand. Okay, I do apologize. I thought that was a. You just sounded like sarcasm. Oh no! But yeah, no. I could elaborate to you in Discord if you want, Nerf. But yeah, what I thought you were talking about, I basically thought you were responding to a completely different conversation, which was not it was not good. That's the problem. I feel like I've definitely said this while I've streamed. But you know, text is not the best method of conveyance. It's like an ad hill. It's no longer base. What did you do? Yeah. What is it? I think Nerf gets where what I mean, so I won't labor the details. And I'm not based. I've never been based, Wintry. I'm only acid. And together we make a cool science fair project. That's what I am. Me, the money is mine. The money is mine. Yeah, the money is mine. He's more. Oh my lord, was a thing. Not only a negative, yeah. The way I took you meant chutzpah, at least. I thought you meant like the cojones, the balls on this guy, to name 2 continents after himself. Conversation as he does. Oh yeah, well, you can only talk about it. Am I wrong that you can only talk about so many things in not comedy? You can only talk about so many funny things. You can only talk about so many things in history before it stops being funny. Everything in all of history is funny. Time, tragedy plus time equals comedy. So therefore, all things older than a year. The gall, the noive. There are people who legitimately are like, yeah, that's right. I see nothing wrong with this. That line of thinking you're jokingly talking about right now, Cahill, that's correct. So long as enough time has passed, everything is funny. Nothing can ever be sad. Ever. Cause my empathy is bumming me out. Goodbye, sadness. Hello, jokes. Good old Bo Burnham. Giving us an applicable song for most situations. The other day, you know, I love how, because so the other day in a Discord, I posted lyrics to a Bo Burnham song I've been listening on repeat, and I did that in part because a friend also does it. Not Bo Burnham songs, but just any song in particular. And I enjoy it. So I was like, you know what? I have a song I like. Let me post the lyrics. And then Juice was all like, oh, you're back in your Bo Burnham page? I'm like, how dare you? Back? Back? I didn't leave. Listen, I'm sorry Bo Burnham does one thing every 5 years. So there's not new material to obsess over. But A, I support him in this. Because he deserves some break. We all deserve a good mental health break. And 2, sometimes I'm just not wearing down my friends with lyrics to songs. I'm so sorry. Man, Sonic games do have good music though. I feel like maybe I should play. When I do play games again, how fast should I do Sonic Frontiers? Because that game's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. It's not the most polished game, but I mean, hey, Sega. And 2. I don't know. It's still pretty fun. A game can be rough around the edges and still be fun, you know. Well, we don't all have to have our Breath of the Wilds together. You know, I've heard a lot of different opinions about Tears of the Kingdom and the footage we've gotten to see recently, and I'm really just withholding judgment for the future, because at the end of the day, I mean, Breath of the Wild was looking rough through its development and everything. So I think it's really a case of we can only know when we see, because we've been proven wrong before. People were like, "Hey, delay Breath of the Wild," and we were like, "We'll delay Breath of the Wild." And they've delayed Tears of the Kingdom a couple times. So, and also people are like, "Well, it's an exploring game, but it's the same location." But I'm really excited about that. You know what I mean? I like having, if there's one thing I love in a but like I think it is such a ignored benefit to making a sequel to a game, especially one that encourages exploration and or like kind of an open, I don't want to say open world is in the genre, but more so just like a world you can walk around in and just do random side stuff in. Because is the idea of like, hey, the characters haven't changed their location since the last time we've been here, but the location itself is slightly different, so you get to kind of see how things are now, and I think that's great. Like, I love when they didn't emphasize it, but most of God of War 2018's content was focused around the lake in Midgar, and that lake is still there in Ragnarok, and I really like going there and seeing stuff. Granted, I think I was a little underleveled because some stuff kicked my ass, and I was like, okay, well, come back here in the post game. And I was like, I'm tired. But I just think people kind of sleep on the possibility to do that. They get so excited about, like, no, whole new area, whole new location. You don't forget about that old place you have precious memories in. Go to this new place, which is also cool, but you'll just keep wondering what happened to the old one. You know? I'm trying to think if this is good enough. Might add some details to the ground. Or at least the rocket. The rocket while it is in flight above the planet. Yeah. I don't think I'll ever not want to draw space travel like Dragon Ball Z. Like, I've been influenced a lot by Dragon Ball Z. But if there's one particular area I'm influenced by it, it's the way the Saiyan pods look as they travel through space. What the? When did chat? Okay, so my chat did not update for the longest time. Yeah, I could not. The chat update in OBS? It has. Okay, I don't know. Cahill isn't based anymore. I realize it's a pinned message now. What? Can we make fun of Darth Maul yet? No. Okay, so I was stuck on the time Nerf said the Gaul, the Noiv. And then scroll down. Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff. Did Schmage go live to tell a bad joke about the Queen? Oh my goodness. I've just been ranting to myself. I apologize. I thought you did. I was rapidly catching up on chat. I was like, oh no, okay. But I respect him if I did. Exactly. That's some real chutzpah. I wanna know, can you show me? I wanna know about the strangers like me. Tell me more, can you show me? I wanna know about the strangers like me. Tarzan is great, right? It is. Correct! Recently heard is not as well loved. Yeah, that's a shame. That's an incorrect opinion to have. Disney's Tarzan is great. So is Disney's Hercules. I've talked about this before. Who cares if it's accurate to Greek myth? Everyone and their fucking mom is making things based off of Greek myth. Like, y'all can take one decently inaccurate portrayal of one of the oldest stories known to man. Yeah, but I think Hercules is pretty well loved. I don't know how many people are putting Hercules slander on my TL. Does this look good? I can't tell. It's so hard when I'm like limiting myself to make sure I'm not doing any like space detail. Space Tail. Space Tales, a woohoo! Every day they're out there making Space Tales. Well, yeah. A lot of movies beloved by people now are that way because of the advent of home video and being able to watch movies from your home. So even if they didn't perform great in the box office, people got them at home and started absolutely loving them. I don't try and be too sensitive, but I'm just trying to make a blanket rule in order to, you know, to make sure when people come in the stream, they aren't like, listen, I feel enough. If you want the practical reason, because sometimes I think it's good to have just practical reasons to do stuff. I feel uncomfortable in a lot of situations. So the least I can do is try and make some kind of area of the internet where if people come in, they don't immediately feel uncomfortable, you know? That is a service I can try and offer. I'm not saying everyone needs to do that. I'm saying I'm doing that, you know? And I might fail. I might be bad at what I do. But I try. About butt stuff. Well, Juice, no, you can talk about butt stuff because everyone on Earth loves butt stuff. I'm not on Earth. I don't love butt stuff. Well, you're wrong, Smage. You're wrong, Digital Smage. Smage, you're not on Earth either. You're in the grid. I do love me some Tron. Disney comes up to me, be like, Cahill, you can head the direction of one franchise, Disney franchise specific project. What are you doing? I say, Tron! I get to do Tron stuff now! We're fighting with Laserdisc, baby! Training is 39. Jeez, what the fuck? A worm? Oh my lord! What did I approve? But what stuff came across my desk and I said approve, and I regret that decision. Yes, I will. Well, to be fair, I don't think Tron is trying to be like, this is how computers work. I mean, it might be, but I think it's more of like a world representative of a computer. An alternate dimension created the computer. Because, I mean, at the very least, in Legacy, they introduced the idea of beings able to exist on the grid without being created by humans in the real world, which is what programs are. Tron is sure. I'm sorry, Smee. It's hard out here. It's hard out here in the grid. Anyway, go watch Tron Uprising. That TV show fucks. Smage, I'm glad you're back. Now go watch Tron Uprising. That TV show fucks. I own all of it on DVD. packed away somewhere, but I own it. No. I'm glad you got the joke, Sage. I do not hate Smage. I love Smage. I want him to go watch Tron Uprising. That TV show Fox. But I have to stop playing Wolfenstein because it also Fox. Tron Uprising is... I don't want to say it's better than the movies, but... I would show it to someone. I would show them Legacy first and then Uprising. I mean, if they're into the 80s, I would show them original Tron. But... But if you think that the Tron discs aren't as cool as lightsabers, you're wrong. You are 102% wrong. Tron discs get to be cool and they don't look as stupid as some lightsabers do. Remember when Kylo Ren was revealed and everyone's like, what the fuck is going on with his lightsaber?
Tonight is calling.
Why is he Jesus Christ? Both of them are dumb looking. That's completely fair. I said as cool. So if you think lightsabers are dumb, you are absolutely free to think the Tron discs are dumb. I just like that you can use the Tron disc as a projectile weapon, but also a melee weapon. Like the way in Tron where they fight, at least in Legacy and Uprising, where they fight and they throw the disc and then you block it, the disc returns. It's like two fucking Captain Americas fighting. Except not like in Endgame. Never like in Endgame. I really just can't defend the MCU anymore. I'm sorry, MCU. I legitimately think you did some good stuff in your time, but you need to retire now. I'm begging you. I'm not even saying people can't enjoy your movies, but at least, like, slow down. It also doesn't help that DC is trying to play catch up when Marvel is playing mustard. Also, what's up, Smash? Like, DC, you should just go back to doing animated stuff. For so many reasons. One, because you always had an edge in animation. And two, because, like... Yeah, I don't know. I don't think cinematic universes are quite what they were once promised to be. So many people are disillusioned by at this point. My phone. You are so desensitized to melee throwing weapons. Okay. I play Warframe.
Yeah, well, listen. I know nothing about Warframe.
You know what? You know what, Smage? You know what, Smage? Let me look up some Warframe weapons. Warframe weapons. Okay. Yep, I'm seeing it. No, the Tron disc is better. The Tron disc is simple. It's sleek. You can customize it, but it doesn't get dumb or overcomplicated. You get to choose your own color. You can choose what your outfit looks like. That's the other thing. It's not just a disc. It gives you an outfit. Put the disc on your back, and all of a sudden, ooh, I'm in like a Speedo. I think we should be good here. I should look up more Calvin and Hobbes because when Bill Watterson was making that, he did a lot of like space panels. Tron disc. Well, now you have my attention. And there are other weapons in Tron, but the disc is cool. In Tron Uprising, one of the main villains has like these digital arms, so he kind of stretches it. He's like Mr. Fantastic, except if Mr. Fantastic killed you, he touched you when he touched you. So it's like, I mean, he kind of could. Mr. Fantastic 100% has the ability to just get all up in your lungs. Mr. Fantastic's special move, lung destruction. Digital dancing. Oh, you mean like that? What? Are you saying? Well, no, because I want to be clear. Mr. Fantastic, when he touches you, doesn't kill you, but the villain in Tron does. He's got like lightsaber arms, kind of. Again, I'm comparing them to lightsabers, but still, that's basically what his arms are. So, if he like if he sends a punch your way, that's not gonna go super great. If we're being completely honest here. Maybe Tron Uprising just speaks to the part of me that really loves edgy teenager, learns to be a superhero by studying under older wizened superhero, which is of course I got from Batman Beyond. Terry Guinness he's my Batman, and he always will be. There's not much anyone can really do to change that, especially not DC. Because you want to know something? Sometimes I look at Bruce Wayne and I think, I'm getting real tired of your shit, Mr. Wayne. I'm a superhero. Yeah, okay, you're also a dick to so many people. Lord. You wanna, I think I've talked about this on stream before. You wanna know one of the worst pieces of Batman writing I've ever seen? If y'all don't, they're actually making a Blue Beetle movie soon, apparently. But, if you do not know, Blue Beetle is what was I thinking of? Is a DC superhero. There have been 3 Blue Beetles, all with different evolving backstories. They're actually all like connected and stuff like that. It's not like parallel Earths. The different Blue Beetles have like emerged over time, being inspired by one another. The main thing that connects them is that all their superpowers are powered by this ancient alien artifact called the Scarab. But regardless. There's a comic of which I've seen the excerpts of, in which Batman scolds the second Blue Beetle, who I believe is Ted Kord, for taking the third Blue Beetle, Jamie, under his wing, despite the fact that Jamie possesses an incredibly dangerous super Iron Man suit capable of, I mean, just like protecting himself, but also just mostly taking care of whatever threat comes his way. It's almost basically a Green Lantern wing. But Batman is mad. He's like, you shouldn't indoctrinate children into crime fighting. And this is fully past the fact that this is well past when Batman has had upwards of 5 Robins. None of which had Iron Man suits. None of which had any kind of advanced alien protection. But no, other superhero doesn't get to do it. I think, I mean, granted, it might be because they were designed to work in a vacuum, but I really think a lot of superheroes in DC end up working better in a vacuum as opposed to a extended universe. And my least favorite bits about Batman is when he tries to act all high and mighty over the other superheroes. Sometimes they deserve it, but sometimes, like, Batman isn't all he's cracked up to be. So. Also, there was not, like, subtext, as far as I could tell, or, like, some other thing going on with that Batman conversation. Just the most tone-deaf Batman possible. And, like, Batman should really just stick to Gotham. Unless a superhero is doing something, like, world-endingly bad or whatever. Like, something that could threaten more than just their area or whatever. Stay in Gotham, my guy. You don't need to micromanage everyone. I am having such a hard time drawing a curve. You know, when I was talking about DC doing more animated content, it did occur to me that Kevin Conroy is unfortunately no longer with us, and that is a shame. I mean, that is really just the end of the... What am I to work on? That is... Only you can answer that, Shadow Mage. That really just is the end of the DCAU, you know? I mean, not that the DCAU ever needed to continue. It's well and truly had a couple finales at this point, and is still pretty dang good to watch. But them going further with any other content in that canon really is not right without Kevin Conroy, given that he was so essential in making Batman. I just realized something about this, which makes it infinitely harder to draw. Given that he was so essential to making Batman the animated series what it was, and thus the DCAU even possible. And of course, Mark Hamill has gone out publicly to say he will not be doing Joker ever again if there's no Kevin Conroy to do Batman. Which, like, always... honestly, Mark Hamill is kind of the person who got me to be like, yeah, I'm not good with the Star Wars sequels. Because apparently he did not like some writing they did with Luke in there. And you know what? If they keep not making content that is at all focused around the sequels, then I'm just gonna ignore... I'm gonna ignore that for now. Mark Hamill said Luke Skywalker isn't like this, and I said, yes, sir. I'd listen to you. If there's one person who could get to tell me what Star Wars is like, it'd be Mark Hamill. I do got quite a bit of respect for the man. He has been in some great stuff. He was fucking Firelord Ozai. Mark Hamill is simultaneously one of the most legendary heroes of all time, as well as being a villain of my childhood and the most definitive version of one of the greatest villains of all time. So, yeah. If I was working on my own original project that no one else had any say or investment in, and Mark Hamill walked in the room and said, change this, I would say, yes, sir. You don't gotta tell me twice. I trust you. George Lucas wouldn't be able to do that. I'd be like, I don't know if I should... George, I don't know if I should be taking advice from you right now. Maybe a little bit, but... I'll think about it. But Mark Hamill? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, do it. Yeah, exactly. If by some godsend I was able to get the clip of Mark Hamill walking in on me as I stream making a comic, and he told me to change something, the clip would end with me saying, "Yes, sir, Mr. Mark Hamill," because I would listen to him. I'd be like, "You know what? You are so right. Stupid idea." From Nerf. Nerf or Muffin. What is a stream marker? Oh, is that for VODs? Okay, I've never fucked with that before. And my headphones actually hit it. Accidentally hit it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know, if I can be honest, and granted, I don't really have that much room to speak right now, given how poorly streams have done with my inconsistent schedule. But as long as I can afford my own place and stuff like that, with whatever day job I have, then I would really like to focus on stream more in the future. I think I was always just happiest when I was able to make stream happen and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, because you know, earlier in the stream I talked about like what I'll be doing when I get back to Jersey and stuff like that. You know what my goal is right now? 100%, not a joke. I want to work in a bookstore. Like, you know what I mean? If the professional animation world won't have me, that's fine. I can do it myself. I don't need y'all to help if you're gonna be like that. But since I need a day job to pay the bills, I want to work in a bookstore. Just something a little quieter. Where I'm able to be surrounded by super cool stuff and have conversations about cool pieces of media. You know what I mean? And I want to be clear, like, because I feel like my parents might worry about this. I am in no way giving up on being a professional animator or artist in any degree, but more so, I'm not gonna just keep applying to animation if it doesn't work out. You know what I mean? If I keep not getting animation jobs or jobs with animation companies, then I gotta think of something. And the thing I want to think of right now is working at a bookstore. I like just a slightly quieter line of work that has some good hours and at least pays minimum wage, or what minimum wage should be, I guess. Minimum wage is in whatever it takes to help me live in a place, which isn't the minimum wage everywhere, but you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. You're like, Cahill, you can't live off minimum wage. Well, that's not the kind I'm talking about. You right. I apologize. It's not meant to be an eye. It's meant to be a window. You know, I want to talk about facts and tidbits about the little thing right here, but I really just have to save it for Patreon. Oh shit. Oh shit. So if you want to know what I'm thinking about as I'm drawing this little rocket right here, make sure to sub to the Patreon. It's $1. I'm going to be posting more updates about this comic and the and the cartoon I'm working on, which I'll be working on it when I'm before work every day as far as I can. Ship! SpongeBob, when are you gonna stop living in your own little fantasy world? No, look, Patrick! A giant ship! That's a good episode, but there's so many. There's many good episodes of classic SpongeBob. And I do think it's important to give credit to some of the people who do current SpongeBob, though I'm not super always happy about it. Them like doing different SpongeBob things with Stefan Hillenburg gone. But regardless, the animators who work on the show are really creative. Like, you'll see clips of the new SpongeBob episodes, and they are going out of the wazoo. And I think that should be applauded, just because it's so easy to let rest on your laurels with different, long-running animated shows. There's a couple adult animated shows I could name, but I'm not going to. I think we can all just imagine which show I might be thinking of, or what show you might be thinking of. But yeah, being more adventurous with the animated style of your show should be applauded more than anything. Heck, it's kind of like one reason Gumball is so cool. One episode of Gumball has more variation in the way it's animated than almost every animated feature from a major studio in the past couple of years. You got your exceptions, but boy howdy. I cannot imagine. I've lost the ability to imagine. My frontal lobe is gone. Was that the bite of 87? What else was I thinking about? I was thinking about something with animated features. Oh yeah, Disney's making the Elemental movie. I don't know, I think Strange World might have already left theaters. I should have watched Strange World when it was out, and I did not get out to the theaters to see it. I didn't get to see Puss in Boots in theaters either because I was moving when that was coming out. So I was fully too busy to go watch it. To a bit of regret, my own regret. But Elemental. I mean, everyone says it, but it just looks like OCs from middle school that everyone made. Which I guess is kind of interesting, but it was a fun movie. I don't know. That's the thing. So, and I'm not calling Juice out because it's kind of whatever. We live in a. What's the thing, Hello? Hello? Wait a minute. There's no way. What is... I'm not going to talk about this if it's a stunt by... Yeah, I'm not going to talk about this. This is weird. I thought it was something else, but it might just be a stunt. Yeah, there's a thing on a social media site. I was going to talk about it because I thought it might be like a hack thing, like someone managed to get around the firewalls. I'm in, and pull a little prank, but it actually might just be a joke from a not very funny man. So I will not bring it up on stream. Just know that on this day, April 3rd, 2023. I went onto a site and was slightly surprised. That's about the only notable thing. I think a Scott Pilgrim should have always been an animated series. But anyway, yeah, let me talk about the thing I was going to talk about before I went on Twitter to just see if anything was happening, and I guess something was. Who cares? Which is that, well, I don't really care about pirating because we live in an age where, like a handful of companies own most things, so who cares if they don't get a couple dollars in ad revenue. At the same time, I do think it's important to always show that you like a piece of media being produced by companies through the only language they understand, which is, of course, money. So it's kind of a hard tightrope to walk. But at the end of the day, it might end up being better. Like, if you can't see it, if you're like, I do not have the means or funds to see that, then yeah, who cares? But if you do, then, you know, always consider. This isn't is that just like the most boring take? Piracy is neither good or bad. It's a situational thing. Like, just the most... It's like, Cahill, you didn't say anything there. The most lukewarm possible thing you could talk about. Coldest take of the century. I mean, that's fair. But I don't know. I mean, I'm only saying it because I feel like so often people are like, hey, always pirate all the time forever. And the queen just died. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it, but at the same time, like, people won't, like, the people with money, and granted, they probably shouldn't have that much to begin with, but just go with me here. People with money probably won't help with anything creative if they also don't think it'll make them money. So, I don't know. It's hard. No one likes capitalism. I don't like capitalism. I'm literally talking about how I'm so dissuaded from getting any kind of, like, professional animation job because I'm already sick of the scene. I want one, and if I got one, I would work hard at it, but no one seems to be willing to take a chance on me. The hit ABBA song. Man, I like ABBA. Y'all hear this, ABBA? This is also an incredibly cold fucking take. There's that Gravity Falls episode where they were making fun of Dipper for liking fake ABBA. But boy oh boy, I like real ABBA. Muriel's Wedding. But fucking Lay All Your Love on Me, that's a fucking bop. It's an ABBA movie. I thought Mamma Mia was an ABBA movie. Oh. It was before Mamma Mia and it's better. Oh, that's actually really interesting. So good. And I'll be you know what? Let me pull my meat out and put it on the table. People like edit One Piece to Lay All Your Love on Me, and specifically there is a certain One Piece thing that I like the edit for. So, you know, everyone's like edits are cringe, and they kind of are. They can be, but sometimes you embrace the cringe. Sometimes edits are good. Sometimes people don't have the time or, like, you know, practice to make a full, like, fan animation. So instead they take clips or images from the official series and put music they like over it. And sometimes it's bad and sometimes it's good. I'm not gonna, like, defend anime edits in court, but at the same time I'm like, you know, some people work real hard on these things. If editing was easy, everyone would do it. And not everyone does editing, so. I don't see you getting out there and doing edits. Are you editing your own videos? I don't think so. You know, sometimes I just like, if there's one thing that can make me happy in times where I feel down, it's just enjoying some good old-fashioned content made from the heart, where someone was like, you know, I really like a thing. Let me make a piece of media to express how much I enjoy it. That's always nice. I was gonna talk about something else. Oh yeah. You know, I'm doing a lot of very middling takes today, so let me just finish with this. You know, I saw a thing the other day. It just come to my attention through, honestly, just independent kind of like accounts online. One being one I follow a lot, one I just happened upon. But like outlooks on life and just like stuff like that. Like, you know, there's a lot of stuff in the news, blah blah blah, whatever. We're not gonna focus on that too much. Want me to speak up more? No. Well, yes, but not if it's gonna be like, Cahill, I think all puppies should be in prison. Like, Schmage, what? But anyway. But you know what I think is super interesting? About whether it's like the world is ending or whether we should all just stay optimistic, blah blah blah. That's just kind of how it's always been. Oh my goodness. Kingfisher. It goes pretty good. Kingfisher. I'm making me my new comic. And you know what? I kind of like how it looks so far. You know, it's not like the most wild looking, but that's okay, because I'm not trying to make the Mona Lisa here. But just to finish my thought real quick before I talk to Kingfisher some more. I think it's just always kind of been like that, you know? People hear about bad things happening and they're like, man, the world's really gone down the drain, or blah, blah, blah. Or maybe just like the opposite, where it's like, well, we need to just stay optimistic, everything will be fine. I think it's interesting because I think about this a lot. You watch pieces of media. I think, let me put it this way. Think about Kirby, Nintendo's Kirby, and then think about Berserk. Okay? Think about the human centipede. You know, like art and media represent like such a far range of emotions and concepts and stuff like that. And while sometimes it feels like everything is bad, the reality is like the world both contains all the bad things you can think of and all the beautiful things you can think of. There's lots of good, there's lots of bad. Sometimes it just depends. Sometimes what needs your focus needs to change. But maybe that's one reason why I never think one policy is fit for everything. Because at the end of the day, life is pretty dang complicated, man. And I'm not even trying to, if anything, I'm not trying to sound smart here. I'm not trying to be like, hey, listen to me, I know the answers. I don't. That's the point I'm trying to make. No, I don't think there is one answer. Sometimes you just need to approach it the best way you can. Just do your best, you know, and figure out what works for you. And maybe that's all there really is to it. I just think about it a lot because, like, as someone who likes to consume media, just a wide gulf between the happiest, cutest ears you can find and the most horrifying things. It's so wild to think about, you know? And I think that's what makes me think about the wide gulf that exists in real life as well. Is this just like, should I not... Are people like, Cahill, shut the fuck up? I don't know, I've just been thinking about it recently, you know? I'm not trying to be ultra profound here. I'm just thinking like we live in a world with lots of stuff going on. It's not all bad or all good. There's lots of both. I'm not gonna get deeper than that because I'm not trying to get deep. That's what he said. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was tapped out. Oh my lord. Well, I should end stream. I should end. I think Sage just killed me. I think Sage. I think Sage just murdered me in broad daylight. Huh? What? I wasn't listening. I don't know. I just think it's good to think about, you know? It can be hard. Is this like... Am I out of my depth here? Like, be honest. If anyone has been listening. Am I like so out of my depth? It's like you don't know what you're talking about, or you're like doing like this life advice stuff. When I'm not really trying to give life advice. I'm more just saying like... Some things are... See, not everything's black. It's like that one theme song of Pokemon. Not everything is black as white. That is completely understandable. I don't think I have ADHD, but I'm definitely never doing one task at a time. I'm always doing something with my hands while I consume a piece of media, typically. Usually if I'm just like sitting down and reading something, it's because I'm in a situation where I cannot do something else. But regardless, yeah. I'm just saying. It can be so wild to take a step back and realize how much there is in the world. And in the widest gulf between different emotions. I mean, if you want to. As long as you don't get into spoilers, Sage. Yeah. Can you? Yes. Will you? Probably. Yeah. I don't know. I just think sometimes because I'm not trying to give advice. I'm more just like, you know, it's more like, have you ever stepped back and just kind of looked at it all from a kind of conceptual idea? It can be weird too, because I think we have the tendency to just think about like singular topics and not all of them all at once. Everything, everywhere, all at once. When you kill them. I'm not a monster. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really have an interest. I'm so sorry. I've heard it's pretty good. Granted, the fact that they're like, it broke the video game curse. It's like, my guy, Sonic the Hedgehog already came out. So did Arcane. Like, okay, let me say something. Last of Us TV show can be good. I probably won't want the next season more than I want another season of Arcane. Furthermore, I think the conversation around it is just wild. You know what I mean? And I have so many. Yeah. Well, I don't even think I wouldn't like it. I just have so many other things to watch. I'm not caught up on Mandalorian. Sage, I have another Pedro Pascal show where he's a dad I gotta see. The fact there's a second one is wild. If I had 2 nickels, I'd have 2 nickels. I'm glad people are enjoying it though. Especially considering how bad the conversation got around Last of Us 2. I'm glad Last of Us fans get a W. And mayhaps one day I will join them. I did very much enjoy watching gameplay of Last of Us when I was getting into games as a younger man, though. When I was in middle school and was like, man, games are cool. I've never really dove deep into them before.
I always kick my semesters off with
Hello? Here's a 3rd nickel. Never have too much of Pedro Pascal. I would love to meet Pedro Pascal. I think he's cool. From what I've heard, he's cool. I would like to meet him and confirm it. I would like to meet him in a non-scripted situation, where I can be like, "Sir, let me get the vibes," and then I will report back to everyone and be like, "The vibes on Pedro Pascal are immaculate." I'm getting coconut nickeled. Oh no! I'll use these nickels at the Coconut Mall. Chen has ruined his music for me. Chen doesn't ruin anything. I'm tempted to get VR chat, despite not having a VR headset, just to fuck around with Chen, because I'd love to hang out with him more. Me and Chen did not always get the most chance to hang out before, given different time zones and stuff, and the fact I go to bed slightly early, and my new schedule where I don't get to hang out with anyone ever has not helped. But I love Chen. I adore him. He reached 2,000 Twitch followers. That's my friend. My friend has done an amazing accomplishment, and I am incredibly proud of him. He is a super sweet man who deeply cares about others, and he deserves it and more. I hope Chen gets the chance to do whatever he feels like with his Twitch streams. I would just say I hope he gets the chance to like be partner or something. But no, he might not want to be partner. He might want to do other stuff. And you know what? I hope he gets to. It was just funny. If I had a nickel for every time Juice lost their Miku combo because I got a nickel, I'd have 1 nickel. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird it happened at all. Animal Crossing. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, think about it this way. Dead Space. Well, you can't play them on the same systems. Okay, well, I was about to say Doom and Animal Crossing, but those already had a crossover. We live in a life where those two wickedly different ideas not only exist together, but people were like, yeah, these belong together. When the actual in-media experiences are so different in emotions they attempt to convey. We live in a world where there's fucking scenic watercolor paintings of flowers and also Saturn devouring his sun. Those are the same type of media. So wild. I don't know. Maybe other people think about this a lot, but whenever I think about it, it's like it's so weird. Life really is. Well, the reason I'm saying this, Juice, and I don't know if you were listening, and that's not a dig. you were deep in your Miku combo, and I fucked it up. But like, I was just kind of getting into these thoughts I've had recently about how like some people like to treat life very black and whitely, but in reality, there's so much going on at any given time. And art is just a good way to convey how vast and different the world is and the different things you can do in it. Cannot come if I'm not staring at Saturn devouring his sun. Saturn was... Oh, I can't say that. I'm not gonna say that. It's a pretty funny joke, but it was along those lines. Yes, Sage. Yes, that was about the lines of which I was thinking. Correct. I'm glad you said it and not me. I said, yeah, basically. something about that. Something about this game. The game review series with only 3 episodes. And then I knocked down Barry's door with a hammer in my hand. And I said, Barry, make more videos. He's like, I'm trying to. Making videos is hard. And I'm like, make more videos. And I wave the hammer. And he's like, okay, you don't can I stream it? Can I, you know, and I'm like, oh, you better just make more videos. I hope you've all enjoyed this incredibly good bit. Please don't send it to Barry. Don't send this do not send this to Barry. I made a comic that showed up on one of Barry's streams. That was pretty fun. Granted, it wasn't like a comic. It was a meme about Barry, but it was fun. It showed up on one of his streams, and then also the highlights reel. I'm sending to Barry now. No. There's never a win in that, you know? Because either you don't say anything and someone might send it to Barry. You say, don't send it to Barry, and then someone sends it to Barry. Or you try reverse psychology and you say send it to Barry, and then someone does send it to Barry. Better make more videos. My mom's asking me if I got my hair cut. I have not got my hair cut. I've always wondered what I would look like with kind of more wild hair. I cannot. It's hard for me to make any Barry streams in the before times and now. But I watch his VODs a lot. Oh my goodness, Mom. Mom is asking about future stuff. Casting. Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing, right? I mean, Smage is kind of correct. There's different big... I think being a big streamer ends up being a little hard in a lot of ways. Like, granted, I would like to be around Barry's size as an end goal of streaming. Not anytime remotely soon. But, you know, if it's like, where do you want to end up in streaming? I'll be like, I want about Barry's size, because that's like full-time. But it's not like I have to ignore chat always because it's going so fast. There's so many people. You know, like he doesn't use slow mode and blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't mean that, you know, he reads every message and stuff like that. No, I'm sorry. Hopefully not. Well, hopefully you'll be a VIP/also partner then, Smage. And then we can just do more co-op stuff. I was actually thinking about booting up Barotrauma. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to see if I could do some solo Barotrauma stuff. Not too soon. But anyway. Ever. You know, fair enough. See, that's why I said I don't wish that for Chen, because Chen might not want to be part of it. But regardless, Barry's still a pretty good streamer. He's basically a metric by which I end up judging other streamers by, through a lot of different ways. And more so than anything, he's crafted this just amazing community, which ended up evolving into the Greater Watch community and all these cool people. Even if you don't watch Barry, if you have interacted with a lot of the people who stream that I talked about or know, then chances are that is in some part influenced by him. So, what I heard, what? So, well, I was just thinking about checking some solo stuff out, Smage, making a small ship for myself and everything. I was watching some different gameplay videos, and I was like, you know, this is like Bear Trauma, and I did enjoy my time with Smage with that. I would say we can play together, Smage, but I'm gonna be honest. I do not. I'm not confident I can work out the schedule for that. Like, hey, Smage, you want to wake up at 7 in the morning and then not listen to me talk because I can't talk in the place I live at? So, always fun, always fun. I'm gonna do this and fuck yeah, we. Oh, same nerve. Well, in case anyone ever needs to know this, I will typically just really hard lurk in a lot of streams, largely because I never know when I'm gonna have to head out or just like become, I want to say like non-vocal, but just like be like I just don't want to interact with people right now or whatever, which is on no fault of the streamer. So because of that, I just end up lurking real hard so they don't, so the streamer doesn't worry about that. And I'm like, I'm gonna try and support. Please don't notice me. You know, so that ends up being my deal a lot of the time. But bigger streamers, I don't worry about that as much in. I just try and hang out as much as I want. I mean, I appreciate lurkers here. I'm never going to get to a place where I can stream full time and work on this stuff so much if I don't have like. Listen, if no one ever chatted in my thing, I'd be like, well, that's weird. But if I had 100 viewers, I'd be like, well, I mean, works out, I guess. Where is everybody? Oh no. I don't know. I mean, at that point, I've said this so many times. One of the reasons I want to grow as a streamer is just so that the reality of me doing this full time wouldn't be so dependent on singular people. Because Smage, if you're rich enough to just give me, just pay me to stream for you full time, then you're basically just my sugar daddy. And I know I know you may want that in some reality, but it'd be like, Smage, are you sure you want to spend your money on this? Yes, and? You know a streamer who I adore and do not get to stop by nearly enough of? Inviso Guy. Inviso is so cool. He is like right next to Barry and how good his vibes are. And just, I love his emotes and art direction and everything. Invis is great. Love him. I really can't watch streams now in general, but I should definitely make more of an effort to stop by Viz's streams when I'm able to. It's so hard to keep up in different chats. I'm modded in Pig. I think I'm still modded in Pig's chat. I'm modded in his Discord at least, which is a bit easier to do given the fact that A, he has a pretty good community, and B, I can just check Discord from my phone pretty easy. But he hasn't told me like, hey, Kale, I'm on modding you in my chat. Yeah, but I'm gonna be so excited to be done this job, just because, if I'm being honest, I think I just want to work on
if I'm not immediately in the creative industry, then I'd rather just have a fun part-time job to help me pay the bills, and then, you know, work on this kind of stuff more. At this point, I'm basically in just chatting mode. But I was just gonna say, because like at one point, the support from these streams were so insane, it was just kind of part of my income, and that's not happening anymore. And that's not on y'all. I don't stream enough anymore. I don't stream enough or regular content, blah, 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 blah. I would just really rather get back to building upstream as I once had. But like I said, I will say, if there's any permanent change from how I'm living right now, I'll probably just still end up doing like lots more art streams. That was always kind of something I wanted to make sure I did. I'll end up doing more games whenever I'm able to stream regularly again, but probably not as much as I once did, where I was just streaming so much. Because I wasn't, I told this, I wasn't super happy doing that. For a while, I was like, man, I want to do art. But I felt games were just like what I quote unquote should be doing.
And you know what? Sometimes that's not the best way to live. You know what I want to do before anything else, though? I'm going to give this one like a little bit of an angle. Like you can see the bottom of this from where we're at right now. Because I think you would be able to. Yeah, that looks good.
Anyway, yeah. Also, again, if I'm ever talking about like, you know, life, blah blah blah, it is never on anyone here to fix Cahill problems. Cahill will figure it out. If I ever was like, I
Need chat to help me with something, I'd be direct about it. It's never a call to action. No, Smage, don't. Smage, actually don't. I'm begging you. No, Smage, I'm literally about to end stream. I'm begging you, don't. The more you do this, the more I feel like I'm reverse psychologizing.
It's like, am I fooling myself into thinking I'm not doing something, but I am doing something? It's so, I know, thank you. You're fine, Smage. But yeah, we got 2 panels done. That's pretty good. No, you're fine. Also, like, I was thinking of, yeah, because, well, okay,
How about we do this real quick? Let me select the logo here. I'm actually pretty proud of this logo. It's pretty simple, but I like it. One of my friends was like, is that the T-Rex skull from Jurassic Park? And I was like, it's a T-Rex skull. And they're like, well, I love the logo. I was like, thank you. They were being very sweet. They weren't like, Cahill, are you stealing from Jurassic Park? Jurassic Park doesn't own T-Rexes. I don't know how to break that to Mr. Spielberg. If I want to have a T-Rex in my content, I can have one. It is not up to you, sir, whether or not I get to have a T-Rex in my shit.
okay. Yeah, but I had lots of fun with it. See, this is what I'm talking about. I think this is going to be a really fun story to tell, and it's so much,
I feel so much less pressure doing these little panels. Like 100%. So I just feel so much better. I love The Man Who Can Do Anything, but I think at the end of the day, I need to save that for a time when I can focus on the content
closer to full time, and less on, you know. Well, less as just something I'm spending all my free time on, if that makes sense. It's not like I'm not spending lots of free time making a cartoon and comic. Regardless, but still. You get what I mean. It lets me, I mean, a slightly easier to make comic ends up. What was I thinking of? Oh my lord. Let me see. I'm gonna raid Cher. We haven't raided Cher in a while. He's doing Monster Hunter, and I do. Maybe I should just play more Monster Hunter. I'm gonna do another game I can get into. Let me just play more Monster Hunter. But anyway, with a Wilhelm scream. But I appreciate y'all being here. I should be streaming. It's Monday, yeah. So I should be streaming Thursday, but I still will only be able to stream 2 days next week because I didn't stream yesterday because I had a long shift, and then on Monday I won't be able to stream because I have a long shift. So I appreciate you, Smage. But yeah, it means a lot, and I appreciate anyone and everyone supporting me, kind of changing what at least the subject of my content, if not a full change in content. I don't know how other people quantify this, but you know. Thanks, guys. I'll see you around. Bye.